the history of the Assumption in Thailand. Pope John Paul II, now Saint John Paul II, meeting the need of his heart to speak about his pilgrimage to the continent of Africa, had this to say:
The life of the Church is a mission in which, through the history of every man, and at the same time through the history of nations and generations, the mystery of God's love revealed in Christ is developed and realized. The African continent is an immense area in which this dynamic process is carried out with special expressiveness. The African soul, in the layers still vast of its traditional religious spirit, sensitive to the dimensions of the whole being. Convinced of the existence of God and of His influence over creation, open to what is beyond, that which is earthly and beyond the grave. This great reality bears witness to how enormous the missionary task of the Church still is in this promising continent.
The Asian Mission Congress, held in Manila in 1979, spoke of a similar reality about the continent of Asia. Throughout Asia, a profound religious sense still remains, and many retain and cherish religious values which greatly influence their lives. We believe that what our people are seeking, they will find in Jesus and His gospel. And yet somehow, we have not been able to release this power of the gospel so that it can truly move and reach the minds and heart of multitudes of our Asian peoples. In the sent-off Eucharistic celebration, presided by the late Bishop Bienvenido Tudtud, Sister Maria Estela, Provincial Superior, presented the missionaries. In answer to the appeal of the Church, and in the name of the Philippine Province, of the Religious of the Assumption, I present to you these women who will bring the good news to the kingdom of the people of Africa and Asia. Sister Mary Fidelis Estrada, R.A., missionary to Kenya. Sister Mary Cecilia Claparols, R.A. Sister Dina Maria Combong, R.A. Sister Catalina Maria Silva, R.A., missionaries to Thailand. Why Thailand? The visit of the Superior General, Mère Hélène Marie, in the 70s challenged the Philippine province to share their faith with their Asian neighbors, that it was not enough to be known as the only Christian country in Asia. The province took the challenge and sent sisters to neighboring countries to gather information and survey possibilities of founding the Assumption in another Asian country. Of the countries visited, Thailand was found to be more open in terms of accepting missionaries into the country. Other providential circumstances helped in the discernment favoring Thailand. The late Bishop Peter Careto, SDB of Surat Thani, in the south of Thailand, invited the Assumption and sent a formal request for a founding community.
On the 13th of March 1980, the Superior General, Mère Hélène Marie, writes to Sister Maria Estela, I send you today with joy our approval for this foundation. Perhaps God will lead it elsewhere much later if it doesn't succeed. But the moment has come to launch it. We feel in it peace and joy. It would be good to start in June by learning the language and to see gently, gradually, how we shall establish ourselves. The approval is dated March 12, 1980. the General Council approves the foundation in Thailand. It is with great joy that we welcome the desire of the Philippines to share their faith with Asia. The foundation in Thailand is for us a sign of hope which concretizes this desire. After extensive inquiries, the Philippines were brought into Thailand, where numerous opportunities have been opened to the assumption. In the request for a foundation in Thailand, we see the fruit of a discernment. It is in this country that the province is called upon to begin its missionary opening in Asia. Thailand represents to us a challenge because of its social structure, because of its strategic and important position in Southeast Asia today. We are confident that the province of the Philippines, stimulated by its faith, will know how to accept the challenge given her. We are happy that Japan should collaborate in this foundation on the economic level, that it can extend financial help during this first year.
The Assumption in Thailand. Her story. Timeline: 1980 to 1981. The founding community, Sisters Catalina Maria, Dina Maria, and Mary Cecilia, arrived Thailand on Saturday, 14th of June 1980. They were welcomed by the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, whose student sisters were welcomed by Mother Maria Angela and the sisters in the Philippines. Mother Maria Angela and Mother Lada, Superior General at the time, became very good friends.
On Monday, the 16th of June, we enrolled in language school. We lived with the Thai sisters in a small house next to the Salesian kitchen behind the Salesian Provincial House. Father John Seferino Ledesma, Father Sef to all, took special care of us. He made sure we got on the right bus to school and came down at the right stop when we come home. Christmas lunch with the Good Shepherd sisters, New Year with the Ursuline sisters in Chiang Mai, made up for our own solitude during this season. Sister Ruang Kanchana was a postulant then. Our teachers in language school and our principal took a special liking to us, making sure we learned not only the Thai language properly, but also Thai customs and traditions. But they voiced their concern. Why go to the south? Southern Thailand at the time was a red zone with many communists still active. It was a danger zone because of rebel Muslims. Our answer: that is where God calls us. By April, we had passed our Thai language exams. Then, Sister Caridad came to join us.
Timeline: May 1981 to May 1982. The four sisters lived with the Thai sisters in their convent in Bandon, Surat Thani, were initiated into the work of the diocese. Sister Caridad worked as secretary of the bishop for his English correspondence. Sister Kat was immersed in parish work, while Sister Dina and Sister Mary Cecilia were initiated in the diocesan programs of the youth, family life, and of the Diocesan Social Action Office, known as DISAC. Involvement with FABC General Assembly, conferences and meetings of BISA, BIRA. Timeline 1982 to 1988. The community of four sisters moved to Tatong, a village of mainly Buddhist and a few Muslim families. The sisters would take an early morning ride for 7 kilometers to be in the parish for Mass, have breakfast with the Thai sisters, then go to their respective workplaces, while Sister Kat goes back to Tatong, visiting families and being Christ bearer to them in her own humble and unique way. Sister Veronica Miki joined the community from 1983 to 1987, her presence helping the sisters become more aware of their being contemplatives in mission and enlivening their community with another personality and culture. Desiring to have a second community, the sisters made the Ranong experiment. Every month, Sister Dina and one or the other sister would spend 4 to 5 days in Ranong, near the Burmese border, to see what involvement they could have in the school of the Stigmatin Fathers and in the parish. After 6 months, they saw how limited the community was in number. But they gained precious friends, Teresa Sawat Bhakti and her family, who came to know and love our Mother Marie Eugenie. Then came Sisters Marie Noel and Stella Maria.
Language study was always a priority. While in Bangkok, the sisters stayed with the Sacred Heart Sisters of Bangkok. Our superiors from France and the Philippines, and all those who come to visit them, stayed in a place prepared especially for the Assumption Sisters. Providence is awake even before the sun rises, says our Mother Saint Marie Eugenie. It was Providence herself who gave us another religious family, the Sacred Heart Sisters of Bangkok. I was attending for the first time the Major Religious Superiors Annual Meeting in Sampran in 1981. Feeling inadequate with my Thai, I looked around for a place to sit during lunch, and I saw this humble-looking kindness all over her face Superior General. I sat next to her and used my simple Thai. Then she asks, "How are you going back to Bangkok?" I answered, "The way I came, by bus and by boat." She then said, "You are going back with me in our van." Her counselors, especially Mother Basilia, took over supper with them while asking more about us before taking me back to my own lodging with the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary and giving me a parting word. "You and your sisters are always welcome to our convent." Mother Calist came with her sisters in a van one time, making the 10-hour trip from Bangkok to Surat Thani just to visit us. They wanted to see how we lived, made sure we had what we needed, and that we were safe. Then followed an exchange. Some Sacred Heart sisters lived with our communities in San Lorenzo and took up their bachelor's degrees in our college. The rest is history. Tatong years were Nazareth and Galilee at the same time. A hidden life where we learn to pray, "Give us this day our daily bread and water." We depended on rain for drinking water, and on the late afternoon, Nawasa flow to collect for household and personal needs. Our house had no exterior sign, but the villagers called it Wat, a temple, a church. We have welcomed our superiors, many sisters, Bishop Cornelius DeWitt, so many friends and guests, children, young people, neighbors. Tatong was a safe haven despite dangers from nature. snakes and scorpions, and who knows what else.
In 1986, Sister Mary Cecilia undertook her master's thesis on the practices from the moment of death until cremation and their meaning to the people of Tatong Mai, southern Thailand, presented to the Graduate School of the Ateneo de Manila University.
Tatong was home, waiting for us after work and visits to other villages or cities. After holding meetings to build community or process development projects at night because the people worked during the day. It was home after our visits to the cities of Hat Yai, Phuket, Trang, Ranong. It was home after Daisak work in Phanom, Tham Sing, Samwang, Hoi Yang, where we worked with fruit growers, families, young people, together with the parish priest and our co-workers of Daisak, where we were learning to make project proposals for tractors, watersheds, fertilizer, obtaining funding for the people's projects, but making sure they return the borrowed capital with some interest to build up the group's fund. Our first vocation, Apple, a lovely young person who was very close to us, was strongly forbidden by her parents to join us and arranged her marriage with a man from Bangkok. Two women who received as postulants and sent to the Philippines for their novitiate. Sunetra made it to the juniorate. Sawanit was not accepted for temporary vows.
Sisters who lived in Tatong Mai: Caridad, Catalina, Dina, Mary Cecilia, Veronica Miki, Stella Maria, and Marie Noel. Timeline 1989 to 1993. In 1989, Bishop Careto asked the sisters to move to Bandon, the center of the Diocese of Surat Thani. They lived on the 3rd floor, managed the hostel on the 2nd floor for young girls coming from other towns and villages. The 3-story building was called Ban Luk Marie, House of the Child of Mary. The ground floor was a kindergarten run by the Thai sisters. Sister Maria Rosa joins the community. Sister Ana Maria had a short stint. Going up and down 3 floors was too much for her heart.
One day, the Italian missionary in charge of the minor seminary came asking, "I want a sister to teach English to my boys, but she must not be beautiful and she must not be young." We were sorry we did not qualify. Only Caridad half qualified because she was not young. Hostel, English lessons, parish involvement, ministering to Filipinas married to Thais, sometimes welcoming them in the middle of the night. Interreligious dialogue with Buddhists, welcoming Buddhist nuns and Buddhist monks to our table. Filipinos going to Suan Mokkh, the internationally well-known Buddhist monastery, for exposure and immersion. We continued Daisak work with Christians and Buddhists, and it was in full blast with vegetable, coffee, and fruit planters in Pakchan, Tham Sing, Samwang, Phanom.
Sister Sol came for her stage as a novice and was initiated into the Thai mission. Siripon Kiyang was accepted as postulant. She made it to temporary vows, but left after completing her master's studies in the Philippines. The community also facilitated the exposure to Thailand of our junior sisters with their junior mistress, Sister Maria Emmanuel. Timeline 1992 to 1998. In 1992, the community made a discernment to move to the village of Pacjan. The move was approved by Bishop Michael Prapon, who had replaced Bishop Careto. Pacjan is a new settlement, the beginnings of which were seen and facilitated by the sisters through their work with Daisak. The community learned how to live and take root in a people by their religious presence, sharing the life of the people and living a simple lifestyle. They built community with the people, set up a children's center, formed the local teachers in the educational charism of Mother Marie Eugenie, and in the spirituality of the Assumption. The children were formed in basic human values of sharing, honesty, respect, care for each other, doing one's duties faithfully, working together for the common good. Parents were involved in school activities. The local government supported the center financially. Today, it is a flourishing children's center serving families in Pacjan and neighboring villages. Participation in the faith life of the people, follow-up of development projects, extending formation activities to migrant villages was part of the sisters' life. Pacjan also welcomed a novice, Maitel, for her stage.
During this period, Sister Mary Cecilia successfully launched a historical research of the settlement of Tamsing as part of Daisak work, a project applauded by the Catholic Council of Thailand for Development, CCTD, and by the funding agencies. The whole village was involved in looking into how they came to be and are forever grateful for the legacy they can hand on to the younger generations to come. CCTD, meanwhile, asked for an RA to work at the national office. Stella Maria fulfilled this need. The community rented a flat near CCTD. Sister Marian Eulalia was sent to join the community, went to language school, and participated in some social activities. Later, she helped run the children's center in Pacjan. Mary Cecilia returned from her studies in the US and joined the community in Bangkok. The sisters found a better place to live, next to the Redemptorist Church in Bangkok. Sister Lucia joined the sisters. While Stella worked with CCTD, Marianne, Mary Cecilia, and Lucia taught in the School of the Infant Jesus Sisters in Bangkok. Sister Maria Rosa was named superior of both Pacjan and Bangkok. In the midst of all this, in 1994, a Jubilee celebration, Sister Catalina celebrates her Silver Jubilee in Ruamrudi Church, an event attended by friends, Thais, Filipinos, and other nationalities. The following year, in Pacjan, Sister Dina Maria and Mary Cecilia celebrate their own Silver Jubilee, organized by the village, attended by friends, villagers from other places, fellow missionaries, who came all the way to celebrate with them. When Sister Christina Maria, then Superior General, made her visit to Bangkok, she recommended that the sisters find a common apostolate so as to live community and their life of prayer without much tension. Workplaces were far apart and sisters come back tired and worn out from commuting. Taking her recommendation seriously, the sisters looked for possibilities of being employed in one place. St. John's comes into the picture.
The St. John's Bangkok years, 1995 to 2011. Ajahn Chanarong, then Executive Director of St. John's Group of Schools, and a prominent figure in the educational, religious, business, and cultural fields of Thailand, met the sisters in Ruang Ruli. It was a meeting of minds, vision, ideals. The owner and founder of St. John's, Ajahn Samay Chinapa, welcomed the RAs with open arms and heart, calling them a blessing that will make the place holy. Agreement was sealed in May 1995, and the community of sisters started living in a house provided for them in the campus. Sister Mercedes joined Stella Maria, Lucia Bernadette, and Marian Eulalia in Bangkok, two postulants who received but left after some months. In Pakchan, the mission was carried on by Sisters Caridad, Mary Cecilia, Demetria, and Maria Estela. In 1998, decision was made to leave Pakchan and come together as one community in St. John's, Bangkok. From our annals, in end February, we closed Pakchan, our rural community, thus ending our 18-year-long mission in the southern diocese of Surat Thani. Some sisters had opted for new assignments or mission. Others went on sabbatical and study leave. Our people in Pakchan understood why we had to let go of them and move on. They accompanied us to Bangkok, and before they returned to Pakchan, gave us an envelope, their widow's mite, insisting that we take it not for ourselves, but for the people God would send us to as we continue our missionary journey. Thus, they completed our lesson in discernment and detachment. The sisters leave. The mission lives on.
Meanwhile, life and ministry went on in St. John's. An attempt to become region was initiated, but conditions were incomplete, so it was put off. Other sisters were sent by the province to be part of the community for short or long duration. Sister Solidinia, Marie Leonie, Stefania, Maxima, Jocelyn, Joy, Myrna, Mercedes was with the kindergarten department and taught English writing to grade school children. Lucia, Stella, Dina, Rosa, Myrna, Solidinia taught in the College of Commerce, International Matriculation School, Technical School. Sister Dina undertook formation of students in human development and values. Reflection Day was started. The faculty and staff, seeing the fruits of this process, requested to undergo the same formation. A memorandum by Ajahn Chanarong was passed that all the departments undergo this in-service training and formation. Sister Dina created modified modules based on Mother Marie Eugenia's philosophy of education and charism, and carried it out with the sisters of Pakchan and of Bangkok participating. One college administrator, a Buddhist, wrote in a thank you card, Thank you for not making religion an obstacle to our working together, instead encouraging us to commit ourselves fully to our common mission of education. The bonds and friendship resulting from these encounters last to this day.
In 1998, Assumption celebrated the centenary of the death of Mother Marie Eugenie. Sister Rejovic, representing the province, came for the outstanding awards given to Ajahn Samay, Ajahn Chainarong, and Dr. Garcia.
Inspired by Mother Marie Eugenie's philosophy of education, St. John's University put up their Masters in Education Department or MEd program. Sister Stella Maria and Sister Dina Maria conducted adapted MEI modules. Sister Rosa gave modular courses. Sister Sol took the opportunity to enroll in the MEd program and obtained her master's degree in the year 2007. Marie Joan was accepted as postulant but did not make it to final vows. In St. John's, the sisters served as campus ministers and teachers. All were involved in catechesis, both in school and in the parish, preparing children for First Communion and Confirmation, some adults for baptism. Visits to the immigration prison was part of their apostolate, as well as supporting and counseling of fellow Filipinos in difficulty. Their community became a meeting place, a place of refuge, a welcome home, thanks to the dwelling provided by St. John's. Friends of the Assumption supported their mission by their friendship and encouragement, sharing of material blessings, and by their loving care and prayers.
St. John's has become family to us, and we to them.
Timeline: year 2002 to the present. Tabong, an educational partnership between St. John's and the Assumption. The Asian Educators Congress brought together representatives from our different communities. It was during this Congress that Ajahn Chainarong, our lay delegate from Thailand, experienced an epiphany, as he termed it. The dream of Ajahn Samay to found a school for less privileged youth was personified by Assumpta Technical High School. Upon his return to St. John's, Ajahn Chainarong lost no time in sharing his experience, and he was charged to look for the place where the school would be established. There was one condition. It was to be a partnership with the Assumption Sisters. In 2002, the community of 3 sisters came to Tabong, opened high school classes as an extension of Mahatay Suksa Tabong, the diocesan grade school. In 2004, St. John's High School had its own identity. In 2005, Bishop George of Udon Thani Diocese asked the Assumption Sisters if they could also help animate the grade school. This the sisters did until the year 2013. In 2011, the sisters were mandated to form only one community in Tabong, and to this day, Assumption has only one community in Thailand. Sisters who lived in Tabong: Mercedes, Catalina, Stella, Cherry, now Sister Therese Eugenie, Maria Anisha, Dina, Joy, Lucia Bernadette, Maria Rosa, Solidinia, Mirna, Minda. One community, one country.
Tabom is a small village in the northeast of Thailand, close to the Laotian border. It is a community of Catholics and Buddhists who live in fraternal relationships. It is where Sister Kat assists in parish ministries, including burials and weddings.
It is also St. John's School Tabom, who has welcomed volunteers from our Assumption College in San Lorenzo and from Ampleforth College in England. Our AMA volunteers, where Bambi was one of them, was accepted as postulant but left as a novice. And the junior sisters with Sister Rejovic, who conducted an English camp. Tabom hosted the 0 to 10 renewal program.
Tabom has the blessing of the visits of two superior generals, Sister Cristina Maria and Sister Diana, and the general councilors. A time and place of celebration. The Church of Thailand celebrated with the Assumption the canonization of their foundress, Marie Eugenie of Jesus. 3 children born through the intercession of our saint joined the offertory procession. Sister Mercedes celebrated her 60th anniversary of religious vows. Sister Sol her silver jubilee. The school and the community the bicentenary celebration.
Today is a special day because today is the ending celebration of our bicentennial youth camp in Tabom. Ending celebration of the bicentenary birth of our foundress, Saint Marie Eugenie, and her co-foundress, Mère Thérèse Emmanuel.
ผู้ทรงชีวิตคือพระเป็นเจ้าก็จะเป็นผู้ที่นำความเป็นนำดึงใจเดียวกันไม่ได้ทำให้แตกแยกนะไม่ได้ทำให้กระจัดกระจายกันแต่อะไรที่กระจัดกระจายกันนี้รวมเป็นหนึ่ง A saint is someone who gathers not divides.
It is where the Assumption finally has an address when the first and only house for the sisters was built in 2006. And where St. John's gave the Assumption a legal identity before the government through Trinity Foundation. It is where we nourish our faith and hope for the future of our young aspirants.
St. John's School Tabong is second home to 230 students aged 13 to 19. It is where we try to live lay partnership as fully as we can, even if we still have a long road to travel together. It is where we, Assumption Sisters, carry on transformative education, where we try to live our heart's desire to be God's joyful presence among our people.
What is it in Tabong that makes families go through hardships and choose to send their children to study with us?
Our novice on stage seeks an answer. All throughout our missionary journey, we have been guided by what Bishop Kenneth Grade said. When you enter into a new country and a new people, take off your shoes, lest you step on people's dreams and forget that God was there before your arrival. May all who come behind us find us faithful.